Hola, buenos dias. This is Kaypacha with the weekly Pele report. This one is for January 6th of 2016. I'm up here on the MS Dixie Queen. That is the tea house in Emerald Bay. Oh yeah. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. And let's look at the astrology for January 6th. Today is Wednesday. And we've got the moon conjunct Venus conjunct Saturn all in the sign of Sagittarius. Nature and the wild. Yeah, that is where we are. It's happening. And that moon moves along. Yeah, on Friday she goes into Capricorn, and on Saturday we end up with a new moon. Sun, moon conjunct Pluto in the sign of Capricorn. Yeah, Capricorn, there's Vikings home. The castle. Symbolic of Capricorn. The boss. The rich. The powerful. The famous Vikings home. Anyway, look at those beautiful mountains behind. So the big thing that I really want to talk about here is, I mean, there's a whole bunch of things, but really, we've got Black Moon Lilith squaring Pluto as of yesterday, and, you know, she's coming into oppose Uranus. I mean, she is now. She moves relatively slowly, and she is making a T-square. We have a Black Moon Lilith in Libra, opposite Uranus, squaring Pluto all the way through the whole rest of the month of January. I want to talk about that. And of course, we've got our, you know, retrograde Mercury still going on. He's going to be retrograde for about 3 more weeks. And finally, that Mars has gone into Scorpio. Mars in Scorpio, Black Moon Lilith in Libra. We got relationship stuff going on here with Venus conjunct Saturn. Let me find a place to talk about that a little bit. And what was the last thing I wanted to talk about? Well, Mars is in Scorpio for about 2 months, stays there until March 15th, goes all the way up into Sag until May 27th, and then goes retrograde back into Scorpio again. So it's in Sag from March 15th until May 27th, but then comes back to Scorpio 23 degrees, stations, goes direct, and all of June and all of July, Mars is in Scorpio again. So we have a long Mars-Scorpio transit. I'm going to talk about that pretty soon. So let's see, you know, I'd like to just go into some of this energy and what it's going on with the different signs. In fact, you know, for the New Paradigm community, I just finished first part and a 2-part of going through what 2016 is going to be like for each one of the signs. Going through Aries, Taurus, Gemini, if you've got stuff in those signs, you know, what these aspects, you know, are doing for you this year. You might want to check out joining the New Paradigm community if you are interested in learning more astrology than you get in these little tiny reports, you know. So check that out on the website. Anyway, yeah, this is really a time, if we consider this new moon, let's look at just the new moon happening here in the sign of Capricorn with Pluto, Sun, Moon conjunct, Mercury retrograding back into Capricorn. This brings up family, 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 you know. And then we look at Mars in Scorpio with relationships, Black Moon Lilith in Libra, relationships, Venus conjunct Saturn, reviewing our relationship commitments and contracts and what we're really, you know, looking for in partnership, you know, over the long haul or the long run, and how we view it. Well, the connection between that obviously is that a lot of our needs in relationship are determined very early on. Like, if not in the womb with what mom was feeling, you know, in her relationship with dad, you know, while we were still in the womb, to the first 3 years and certainly our childhood, of what was going on, you know, at that time, and the messages that we got from mom and dad, particularly the parent of the opposite sex, you know, when it comes to making relationships with those of the opposite sex, and also, of course, same sex. You know, you're still going to have this parental imprint. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah? This conditioning, this patterning, the way your father treated your mother, the way your mother treated your father, you know, the religious beliefs that each one of them had, the guilt or the shame that each one of them inherited from their parents and their families. And this is the kind of thing that holidays bring up, New Year's brings up, you know, and particularly, you know, with all of this Pluto in Capricorn now. I mean, it's there from 2008 to 2024. And part of this breaking out of the patriarchy, breaking out of the old thousands of years paradigm of male domination, like I've been talking about for so long, you know, into this new paradigm of a balanced masculine and feminine. We're balancing out our relationships, and what happens? Nobody gets enough love on this planet. Nobody gets enough attention. You know, people are busy working and surviving and filling the cupboards with food and paying mortgages, and the kids, you know, the kids are going to daycare, or we got, you know, single parents going on, and the kids are getting shifted back and forth, and you know, in many societies the educational systems are like at the bottom of the budget. You know, army comes first, you know, then medicine, or what, I mean, you know, but then the banks, you know, and whatever money is left, you know, they put it into the kids. You know, it's really amazing, you know, how you know, our childhood is really so, you know, spat upon in so many cultures, and we're all kind of wounded as a result of this. And so now, for these next few months and most of this year, we've got Black Moon Lilith moving through Libra. She does move into Scorpio in May, I think, for 9 months in Scorpio. Mars is going to be in Scorpio mostly from now until August. And this Scorpio is about releasing, letting go, dying, killing off the old childish patterns, the old ways of being in relationship, the old needs, the old dependencies. And I would say that, you know, whatever happens, let's just take, we want to look at Black Moon Lilith as shadow, and I want to talk about shadow today because Scorpio has to do with shadow. Yeah, Sun, Moon, Pluto has to do with shadow. Venus conjunct Saturn has to do with shadow. We are all looking at our shadow shit this month, and last month too. And so shadow is a negative belief or beliefs that I have about myself that I hide, deny, repress, or project. When we hide them, deny them, repress them, or project them, we're not allowing these negative beliefs, you know, to really be consciously healed. So let's take an example. An example of this is going to be, I don't feel lovable. Now this can happen, you know, like if your parents get divorced and you're 3 years old, you might think it's your fault. You know, if your father or your mother is always working and they don't have time to hold you and nurse you and cuddle you and play with you, it's like we can all get these feelings like, I'm not lovable, or I'm not enough, I'm not good enough to be loved, or I don't deserve love. I mean, so we can all kind of, you know, but you can all get, you know, think of your own shadow. I'm just using an example, man. So we're all love-starved. We're all love-hungry, and we're all black holes for love. It's like, come on, give me love. I'm wounded, you know. I don't feel lovable. But when it goes into shadow is when it's like, oh no. You know, I want to, number one, I want to hide that. Because if people see that, you know, I don't feel lovable, then they're not going to love me. So I'm going to, like, hide that, and I'm going to, like, you know, put on a false mask. Put on a false persona, you know, and you know, and be the big shot or something, you know, and then, you know, and so we get into relationships, we get into partnerships, and the more intimate they are, the more closer they get, the more they see it's like, oh wow, this person doesn't love themselves enough, or this person doesn't, you know, it's like they have a bad self-image. And they might feel sorry, you know, for you or whatever, but, you know, you can sabotage your relationships. You can go outside, you know, your relationships. You can go into, you know, dependency behaviors where it's just like you're needy, and you actually drive the person away. Or you can take that shadow of, you know, I'm not worthy of love, and you can project it onto your partner and go, you don't love me enough. You know, you don't love me. You know, and then you do something stupid or whatever, you know, to undermine your relationship. This is the way shadow works, and this is the kind of thing that we're going to be working with a lot this year. Node in Pluto, North Node in Virgo. You know, with Jupiter, I talked about this healing and this purification, Saturn moving, you know, through Sag, and like right now is a time where our relationships may be helping us to see our shadow and seeing what we may be in denial about, yeah? And some of it can lead to lies, partial truths, hiding our deepest fears or our deepest needs. And then going elsewhere or going here or going da-da-da. It's like, this is a time now. New moon, sun, moon, conjunct Pluto in Capricorn. It's like, stand up. Be counted. Be the king, be the queen, be in your truth. Own your truth. Acknowledge your truth. Acknowledge your wounds. Don't deny it. Don't repress it. Don't project it. Don't hide it. It's just like, you know what? Nobody's perfect. And if we can accept our own imperfections, we're going to, you know, other people will accept our it's amazing. You love yourself unconditionally, guess what, man? Everybody else is going to love you unconditionally. And if you only love part of yourself, you know what? Everybody's going to love that part, and they're not going to like the other part, and blah, blah, blah. I mean, the world's like this mirror thing going on. So that leads me, you know, right into the mantra, you know, for this week. And that is... You know, it has to do with self-acceptance and healing the shadow and really owning our stuff. Because we don't want to get lost in this cycle where I don't love myself enough, and then I project it out that you don't love me, and then, you know what, you stop loving me, and so then I really feel even more down on myself. You know, and maybe that relationship fails, I go on to another relationship, you know, and I do the same thing over again. We get into this cycle, where we actually end up validating a false belief or you know, a negative belief. And it's just a belief. But our beliefs turn into reality. So like, you believe that you're a piece of dirt for long enough, and you will be treated like a piece of dirt, and you will start feeling more and more like a piece of dirt until one day you will be a piece of dirt. Well, I mean, we're all going to be, you know, dirt. one day anyway. Forget it. You know. Anyway. So it's like, you know, we get into these patterns, and the patterns get into this repetitious cycle, this unending cycle of, oh yeah, that's what happened before, and it's happening again, and it's happening again and again and again and again. It's like, you gotta break the cycle. So, yeah. To break the cycle of endless dependence, I must heal the shadow through full self-acceptance. To break the cycle of endless dependence, I must heal the shadow through full self-acceptance. Full self-acceptance requires ruthless self-honesty, and then honesty within the partnership and relationship. Then the healing may occur. The unconditional love may be received. Once you have that unconditional love for yourself, it gives you the strength to express your needs and your truth within your relationships, and then your relationships can reflect the awesomeness that you essentially are. Oh yeah. You know what I'm talking about? Maybe some of you do, and maybe some of you don't. And that's just fine. I'll say it one more time. To break the cycle of endless dependence, I must heal the shadow through full self-acceptance. May you fully accept yourself just as you are, and move through 2016 healing all of your wounds and ending codependence, so that all of your loving relationships may reflect the truth of your eternal spirit that is love. Namaste. Aloha. So much love.